Heart of Glass is a surreal, elegantly haunting film directed by German filmmaker Werner Herzog. In a tiny pre-industrial Bavarian village, the foreman of a glass-blowing factory passes away, taking the secret of his wondrous ruby glass production to the grave. The aristocratic factory owner steadily goes insane with the loss of this secret, and a reclusive seer predicts doom for the village and the world. One of my all-time favorite directors is Swedish director Ingmar Bergman. I've long suggested that 3 of Bergman's greatest films, The Shame, The Virgin Spring, and The Seventh Seal, in that order, could be viewed as a post-apocalyptic trilogy about human corruption, regression, and eventual redemption. But Herzog's Heart of Glass could almost be regarded as a pre-apocalyptic film, and a dreamlike indictment of our obsession with material things. Heart of Glass was a bold acting experiment wherein the entire cast, with the exception of the seer Hias and the glassblowers, performed under hypnosis, having memorized their lines while being put under. This generates a subtle atmosphere of otherworldliness, as most of the characters are wide-eyed, sedate, and slightly robotic in their behavior, almost as if the actors are sleepwalking, which, in effect, they are. Even the inn contains townsfolk slow and blank in their drinking and merriment, almost like automatons. I mentioned in my review of Bergman's Hour of the Wolf how this film features the kind of surrealism I like, a logical preposition that it then subverts, and Heart of Glass presents another type I like, a world that feels like our own, yet subtly wrong and off-putting. Blue Velvet, that old bugbear of mine, didn't do it for me, as it felt too far removed from reality to be convincing. But Heart of Glass achieves a perfect sense of the village as familiar yet also weird and alien. It is a testament to the adaptability and subconscious quirks of the brain that the performances still feel natural and the personalities well defined, even with the actors under hypnosis. Even with your barriers lowered and inhibitions reduced, even when in such a suggestible state under hypnosis, you are still you, so you can still act or play an instrument, which I find fascinating. Heart of Glass is a type of film you don't see much of anymore, at least not from America. Heart of Glass is slow-paced and not particularly eventful, but still enthralling. The death of the foreman, and his much-coveted glass secret going with him, are the off-screen inciting incident, and a driving thread of the film is Hias's prediction of the glass factory burning down, but Heart of Glass is mostly plotless, instead concentrating on eerie atmosphere, graceful, somber music and cinematography, low-key madness, and the factory owner's psychological decline. But these are all it needs to grip us tight and draw us into its world. I must also point out Hias's chillingly prescient prediction of the world's future. In the inn, as he describes the coming decades with grave, piercing conviction, you quickly realize that he's describing World War I, the catastrophic recession in the Weimar Republic, World War II, the Cold War, and many other pivotal 20th century events, before moving on to the bleak far future. Heart of Glass is one of the best examples I've ever seen of narrative and production complementing each other, of the fiction in the film and the reality of its creation blending together. Just as the actor, Joseph Berbichler, has an edge over the others as one of very few actors not hypnotized, his character too has an advantage over the townsfolk through his clairvoyant visions. Both actor and character perceive reality on a greater level than the other participants. Heart of Glass is almost like a metatextual version of itself. Hias is like a real person among simple characters, just as Berbichler is a lucid, conscious person among the semi-asleep. I loved Heart of Glass, which earns 4.5 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers.